Ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes alike, welcome inside to League on Lock. Eric and Mark with you guys, and it's one of the lighter days of off-season news considering how insane the last, well, pretty much 10 days or so have been. But we did have some announcements out of the LCK. One of the teams that we were waiting on some signings to follow through, and one of the most coveted free agents remaining was two-time MVP Bdd out of the LCK. He's going to KT Rolster. That rumor had been going around for a while. There were some contract issues in the negotiation process, but he is going to KT Rolster, and SnowFlower from the TCL makes his return to the LCK, going in the bot lane for KT.
Yeah, let's start here and focus in on the mid lane with Bdd. That is the premier signing here for KT Rolster. This is who you needed to sign to make sure that this roster would be able to compete with the likes of an SKT, stay in this big playoff race that we're going to have this year with the retooled LCK. This is what you needed because you had Smeb, you held on to him, that crown jewel in your top lane, and of course you got Score not going to military. This is great. We get another year
7 with KT Rolster.
Heck yeah, give me more of old man Score. I still love seeing him in the jungle. And then of course Bdd. And I think when you start with those three right there, that's absolutely what you needed to get. That top jungle and mid synergy right there. I don't know if even the likes of SKT with Khan, Clid, and Faker can beat that level of strength that you have right there with KT Rolster. And then of course, the bot lane right here with Prey and SnowFlower. I think that this is what you're looking for and what you want to be having here. Because SnowFlower, yes, it is a little bit of a risk here in that he does need to prove himself coming from the Turkish League, seeing that we know that he is very talented. We know that he can make these playmaking engages, but we need to see it again at the LCK level, at the level that KT Rolster will be expecting to perform at.
And now Prey is not officially on this team, but he's still,
this would be great to see him
still
there.
One of the probably the best free agent left on the market. So you got to think KT's looking at reuniting him with some former teammates in Bdd from last year and Smeb from the Rocks Tigers. But yeah, I mean, Bdd, the Fnatic rumors are now dead. People thought he's going to come and replace Caps. I never bought into those rumors. You know he was probably going to stay in the LCK. And I mean, this is tough for Kingzone to lose him because you'd think this was the main guy that they wanted to keep going forward. He should be, because even when Kingzone was struggling, he was pretty much the only player on that roster performing to the level that we saw over the last, year and a half with this team. At times, you talked about the entire top half of this roster. At times, Smeb, Score, and Bdd have all been regarded as the best on the planet in their position. So yeah, that's a pretty serious force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely, and the likes of that we've been talking about and how we've been hyping up this SKT super team and everything else that's been going on in the LCK. This is the response that KT Rolster needed. People have been getting on them, obviously, of course, for disappointments in the past couple of years, and the way that things went this year at Worlds and not making it out of the quarterfinal stage was so important to retool here and get a roster that will still be at that top level to compete. And again, when you have Smeb in the top lane and you've got Score in the jungle and Bdd in the mid lane, you've got three players right there that are absolutely elite at their roles and should be no way that you're not going to be making playoffs with this lineup.
And the SnowFlower signing is interesting to me because typically you see someone leave the LCK or leave Korea to go to a minor region. Even when they come back, they're not going to be on one of these top tier teams, regardless of how well they play. Just look at Ignar, put up a fantastic performance on Misfits. He comes back to the LCK and he goes on BBQ, which ends up being relegated and one of the worst teams in the LCK. But SnowFlower obviously goes and wins 2 championships over in Turkey, is far and away the best support in that region, and he comes back and he gets to join a contending team, something he didn't even have when he was on the LCK the first time.
That's the interesting thing here. SnowFlower might actually be the first player to have left his major region and improved his value in that minor region here. And it's something that I think does need to be given a lot of credit to him and how he has played before, because this is the type of support that you're going to want if you're KT Rolster. This is the type of level that if you're replacing someone like Mata, yeah, that's big time shoes to fill. But you do need to get someone who's going to be willing to make those engages, to make those type of plays, and to have the skill to pull it off, and that actually is SnowFlower here right now.
I mean, it's basically the biggest support choose you could imagine is to fill the ones of Mata when he was on this squad. They need to get Prey to fully flesh out this roster because really there's not many other players left available with Deft already being signed. We know that Teddy's already going to SKT. Bang is over in North America. So who really are you going to bring? It's got to be Prey. He's the only main guy left, and I wouldn't be surprised if that would be where he'd want to play because that's his best chance at contending in 2019. And with that being said, this roster for KT is probably the best rival for SKT in 2019, which means the rivalry, the Telecom Wars, are in full swing in 2019. You got Mata versus his former team, and Smeb, as always, just loathes SK Telecom. That's why he couldn't join them.
It's so perfect here because yes, you had SKT assemble their version of Exodia, getting all those cards set out to bring out the big monster roster. And then of course, KT Rolster not gonna let it slide. They're bringing out their own Blue Eyes Dragon here at the same time with this lineup, this power that they've got here. This is gonna be the year that you definitely do not want to be missing any of the Telecom War matchups.
And there's gonna be so many different storylines to follow with these squads. Obviously, Mata versus his former team. SnowFlower and Teddy used to be a bot lane together on Jin Air. And then you got the likes of Khan and Bdd, former Kingzone and MVPs of the league, matching up against one another. Pretty much every single lane matchup in this Telecom War is going to have its own individual storyline that you could follow.
Well, hey, I'm going to give you an early bit of a warning, SKT, and especially Clid, you better get ready for some intense smite fights because SnowFlower has said that he's going to be practicing with Score. He's going to take Unsealed Spellbook, and he's going to be ready
smites.
20 minutes onwards. Double smites. They're going to count it down 1, 2, 3, and they're going to get everything secured. So hold on. SKT, if you want to get some of these neutral objectives, you're going to have to beat these two now for KT Rolster.
Score 7 years the elder, by the way. Might even be 8 years now of Clid in that jungle matchup. But the Telecom Wars, it's going to be a new chapter in the rivalry, but possibly the most exciting era yet between that matchup.